Oh, yasyantam na vidusura suragana devaya tasmai namaha devaya tasmai namaha. Once again, welcome to all of you. As I said in the verse today, we are starting here, chapter 18. And that is the culmination of Bhagavad Gita. Way back, I think it is 2013 or something, we started Sunday session on Gita. It's almost 10 years. It's a long journey. And some of them told me while the child is graduating, he said, these 12 years I've been listening only Gita from you. Do you think you'd speak on anything else at all? Study of Gita is study of oneself. It is self-study. Swa-adhyayanam also. It is self-observation. How one, from confusion to conclusion, from delusion to determination, from unhappiness to total joy, and confrontation to commitment. This is what we see in Arjuna. What he began with was a confusion, and he himself concludes, I will fight the war. I am determined. I am free of delusion, fear. Aham vigatajvaraha. Moho nashtaha mama. Karishyami vachanam tava. I will do what you said. My delusion gone. I will fight the war. So the Bhagavad Gita began with a question from Arjuna. Why should I fight the war? I don't see any purpose. I'm confused. Interesting thing is, Krishna was there as his friend for a long time. Friend and a cousin. But when does Krishna become a guru? Only when Arjuna became Shishya. Sishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. I am your disciple, please instruct me. Then only Krishna became a guru. Until then, he was just an associate or a friend, a relative, a charioteer. Also, this is very important. This is why in the last chapter we saw on Shraddha. जिसमें हम श्रद्धा रखते हैं, उसका बात हम सुनते हैं. Whatever or whomever we have faith in, their words we validate or value. Not validate, value. जिसमें हम श्रद्धा नहीं रखते हैं, when we do not have faith in someone, that person may say anything. Even the right advice that person gives, we don't listen. So my Swamiji, my children never listen to me. Now, think about it. क्यों नहीं सुनते हैं? Why your children don't listen to you? Huh? Don't feel bad. Because their immaturity is one thing, that is also there. But do we act and do things in such a way that they get faith on us, trust on us, believe us? And if we behave the way we want, say something and do something else, the children will observe it clearly. So when we do not follow whatever we say, or we do not behave the way we tell them to do, then they will say, if you yourself are not doing it, why should I? So here, Krishna became a guru only when Arjuna fully committed and surrendered. So I am your disciple. So this is how it began. And it is said in our Shastra tradition, Upakrama and Upasamhara should be the same. Upakrama means introduction, preface. Upasamhara is conclusion. So what he began with telling Arjuna was, Shokam ma guru, na shochaya. Don't worry. You are worrying about something you should not worry about. Shoka nivaranartham upadesha. The advice or the teaching given by Krishna is to remove shoka, sorrow. Sorrow and grief or worry are one and the same actually. I'm only worrying, not grieving. Grieving, we always take it to the remotest, the particular sense of somebody died or somebody is not well, grieve. Okay, leave that word, grieve. Sorrow. Worry is an expression of internal helplessness. I don't know what to do. So that is what was the condition of Arjuna. I don't know what to do. Dharma modaha aham. Tasmat karma modaha api. I'm not sure about what is right, and therefore I do not know what to do. So when the preface is about how you should not worry about, Pandidaha na shochanti. Men of wisdom do not worry. Is first statement. First statement is what? You are worrying about something you should not worry about. Men of knowledge or wisdom do not worry. So what is that it means? What it means is, wisdom alone can remove sorrow. Knowledge alone can remove the worries in our mind. So the saramsha of Gita is what? Shoka nivrittihi, elimination of sorrow. And who in this world is not worried or sorrowful? So to whom it applies, this knowledge? To whom is it? One who is about to die. In our tradition, somebody who is about to die will read Gita for him or her. Arey, wo chal raha hai. He's not going to be worried. He's going to be dead. Those who are living should read this. Gurudev used to say, Gita is for the living, not for the dead. Because in everyday situation, we are the people who are succumbing ourselves to the worries and sorrow. And Gita is for whom then? For the living or the dead? We open the book only when somebody dies. That book is sitting there, next person to die. That's so bad. So upakrama is, don't worry. What is the upasamhara? What is the last statement Bhagavan said? Ma shuchaha. Don't worry. The entire Bhagavad Gita is about how not to worry. Swamiji, we have to read the entire Bhagavad Gita not to worry. I'm worried about that. 700 verses I have to read or understand to not get worried. So that itself worries me a lot. How much time it takes? So that is why I said, this chapter is sufficient. Oh, that means that we don't need to listen to all others. So if you're going to any lecture, last 10 minutes only I'll go. Anyway, that is the conclusion of the whole thing, right? See, traditionally what we do is, in the beginning, we give the introduction, which will talk about what is there in that particular chapter. And the end, we conclude with the same point, not something else. So, Upakrama, introduction, Upasamhara, conclusion, must be the same. And how we came to that conclusion is the explanation in between. Vivaranam, description. So 18th chapter पढ़ने से हमको सब मालूम होता है गीता में जो क्या है. Whatever is there in Gita will completely know. No. But if you have read Gita or studied Gita, and if you have any doubt in certain points, in this chapter, Bhagavan Krishna is able to clarify that, because he doesn't want anybody to live with doubts, because doubt kills. Samshayatma vinashyati. A man of doubt never has any happiness. A man of doubt cannot feel complete or fulfilled. So here, this chapter is about all that ideas that are presented, how to understand finally. Let me take you back to the 17th chapter a little bit. It is about Shraddha. I've just put down some ideas here. The question that was raised by Arjuna in 17th chapter was 3 things, actually 4. Those who have not studied Shastra, but has Shraddha in Dharma, what is their condition? Yes, Shastra Vidim Utsrijya. Having given up having not studied Shastra, but Shraddhayan Vidaha, Kanishta Krishna Tesham. What is their condition? Now, maybe you have to understand it in 4 ways, 4 different things. When you say Shastra, what we mean is the way of living as prescribed by our scriptures. It is not a particular thing to do. It's a raising your level of understanding. Like if you're studying engineering or law or medicine, you may read many books related to the subject, but your level of awareness increases about that subject matter. You know? It's not saying what to do. It is saying how to understand. If it is a problem, how to understand the problem. And if it's a problem, how to go about the solution. And if you have studied well, you don't need to refer the book. I went to one doctor long time back, homeopathy doctor. And I had some kind of a rash in my body. I wanted to show him what it is. So somebody took me. I had these rashes. So what do? I said, wait. And he took a huge book and started to refer next half an hour. I came out of the place. If he is going to refer to the book and then give me a medicine, so that means what? He doesn't know himself. But if you are a learner or a beginner, then you understand. He has been in the field for 35 years and still. So Shastra is not a book. It is Shasanat Shastram. What is to be done at any given point of time based upon your level of awareness. But there are different Shastras are there. Some of them need to be referred to again and again. because we cannot comprehend the depth of that knowledge given to us. So much. When our Shastris here, some of them, when they perform the yajna, yaga, the karma, once in a while they refer, but most of the time on their own, they chant the mantras and they perform. That shows their, ability to comprehend what is relevant at that situation, what is to be said and what is to be done. That comes over a period of time of familiarity. So Arjuna's question was, a person who's rejecting the Shastra, but having Shraddha, meaning I should do the right thing in this life. Most of us are that category only. We want to do the right thing. We want to live happily and joyfully, peacefully, but we do not have the access to, or we have not have the ability to understand, comprehend what is said in Shastra. So, first category of people is those who have not studied Shastra, do not access them, but has faith in the right way of living. What is their condition? This is the question. The second possibility is those who have studied and having Shraddha. Most ideal condition. Those who study Shastra and they are having Shraddha and what is said also. That is the most ideal situation. The third possibility is those who have not studied and don't follow anything. Shraddha bhi nahi hai, Shastra Jnana bhi nahi hai. They are called Rakshasas. Because they don't want to be guided by anybody, then I know. Anything you ask, I know. They do not want to learn anything new to change their ways, nor do they have any faith in doing good things in this world. So first possibility is not studied, but has Shraddha. Second possibility is studied and has Shraddha. Third one is not studied, not Shraddha. What is the fourth possibility? There are logical thinkers. Flowchart. What is one? Studied but no Shraddha. So they are all mere Pandita. They only can talk. They can never walk. So Bhagavan does not address the other three. He says only one. Why? You asked that question. What? Those who have not studied Shastra, but want to follow the path of Dharma. Now I'll explain to you this. This is how he started. Now, why the Shraddha is necessary also we saw. There are three kinds of Shraddha Bhagavan talked about. Sattvika, Rajasika and Tamasika Shraddha. And each one of them have got their own results also. Sattvik Shraddha gives knowledge. Shraddhavan, Sattvika Shraddhavan, Labate Jnanam. A man of Shraddha, who is Sattvik by nature, he gains knowledge. Shraddha alone is not sufficient because Shraddha can be on anything. It can be on money, it can be on power, it can be in various other things. But जिसमें ज्ञान में श्रद्धा है, गुरु में श्रद्धा है, भगवान में श्रद्धा है, उसको ज्ञान मिलेगा. श्रद्धावान, सात्विक श्रद्धावान लभते ज्ञान. And how to develop this Shraddha also I spoken. Upasana he's talked about. Yajna, Dana, Tapa. He spoke about Yajna, sacrifice in the form of Vasana. And what kind of a deity you are worshipping, how are you worshipping, for what purpose you are worshipping. These are all also important. And Yajna, that is Upasana, how to relate ourselves to the chosen deity, keeping our mind that there is something higher than us which guiding us. And that Shraddha should be there. And what purpose is also important. not to destroy others. That is tamasic. Only to gain money and name, fame. That is rajasic. And gain correct knowledge and peace of mind. That is sattvic. Then dhanam, he spoke about kale, patre, deshe kale, patre cha. Having understood correct, appropriate time, place, and purpose, a person who shares, that is called sattvika dhanam. Then about tapas, he spoke on 3 kinds: kaya tapas, vak tapas, and manas tapas, manasika tapas. What are the austerities that are correct for a person to do at the physical body level, at speech, and in the mind? So these are the details he gave elaborately, and it includes ahar also. What kind of food you eat, how much you eat, when do you eat, what do you avoid, why should you eat what you eat, all that also was spoken. So this way, we have seen so many different thoughts about various ideas about Shraddha. Now, interesting thing is, after having studied what we should do, we should take our mind to Sattvika Shraddha. Following what is spoken by the Lord, we have to undergo the change by understanding in the food, in the deities that we worship, in the austerities that we undertake, in the way we do charity. In those things we need to do. So sadhana, that is called sadhana. Sadhana, sattvika vritti vridhyartyam, for the sake of increase of sattvic thoughts. After all, Shraddha is what? Manasikam only it is. Shraddha means faith. Faith is in the mind. If you say, I believe you, show me. How do you show? I believe you, I trust you. Show. How do you show? It is in my mind. Yo yashraddha sayeva saha. Sattva anurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata. Sattva anurupa, mana anurupa, vritti anurupa shraddha. As per your thought, so will be your faith. Or as per your faith, so will be your thoughts. And as per your thought, so will be your life or your action, your behavior, your attitude. So directing yourself to the Shraddha means what? Developing sattvic thoughts. That is the idea here. Interesting thing is, sadhana samaye na phalam drishyate. In the practice of such particular advice given by Bhagavan Krishna about how to develop sattvic thoughts by doing the sattvic actions with the right attitude, etc. Sadhana samaye, at the time when you are thus practicing, na phalam drishyate, you will not see the result clearly. Cooking samaye taste na janati. No, when you are cooking, at that time, the final product, you cannot know what it is, right? Do you know? When vegetables are there, oil is there, and you put it on the fire and then start cooking. At that time, when you're doing that, do you know what will be the end result? You can only think about it, but the end result is only when it happens. Sometimes it is definitely a disaster. And then they bring it to me and say, Swamiji, I tried on you. I mean, and the very reason they gave is, if it is not tasting good, Swamiji, after all, I don't taste, when you're cooking for you. Hare Baba, why don't you please taste and then bring it? So, in the same way, while we are engaging in the sadhana, we clearly would not get to have the clarity about what would be the result of this. But once when you have the result, then you know what you did. See, this is very, very important to all the parents. Because when the children say, no, I don't want to go to Bal Vihar, I don't want to do this, and you also behave like that, that's all okay, I am also tired today. Sleep. And if it happens every other week, then there's a problem there. But when the child really understands what it is and it is having the correct maturity, etc., then you know, yeah, I think I did the right thing. Even though the child was reluctant, I made sure that he or she learned properly, and now we see the result. So the only when you start enjoying the result, you realize what the right thing you did. Or you realize what the wrong thing you should have avoided. Both. So that's why in Bhagavan, in the 17th chapter, Bhagavan said that do it. Shraddha is necessary and develop sattvic shraddha. In all things you do, the way you say things, when you engage in the world or behave with others and worship and your own personal spiritual practices, in everything, do it with, because Bhagavan, what he said, whatever action you do when there is no shraddha, it becomes asat. Very clear. What you read, what you know is different from, or it is other than what faith with which you do this. And if there is no faith in your action, there is no result in that action. Real result is not there. Asadeva, ashraddhaya kridam karma, asadeva. Without faith, when you do anything, it is as good as absent. And then he explained also that Om Tat Sat Iti. When you have done everything rightly, with faith, etc., but yet there could be something you might have missed out. Therefore, seeking the forgiveness from the Lord, you have to utter these three things. Om Tat Sat. May that be true. May yours, what you decide, O Lord, be true. So that is how he concluded the 17th chapter. Now we'll move into this particular chapter we are coming into. So here we saw, just before that chapter 2 was the Upakrama and chapter 18 is Upasamhara, conclusion. And first 12 verses in this chapter is about sannyasa. Sannyasa means, literal meaning is renunciation. Bhagavan has given this topic much earlier also. Sannyasa yoga is already spoken, karma sannyasa yoga, jnana sahita karma sannyasa yoga also he spoke. And this knowledge, which will alleviate all our sorrows, we must have faith in. Atma jnane shraddha hona chahiye. In that knowledge, we should have faith. Because who is giving this knowledge? Bhagavan himself. Swayam Bhagavan. Bhagavan himself says, jnanena tu tadajnanam yesham nashidam atmanaha. One whose destruction of the ignorance takes place by correct knowledge, he alone is fit for the highest liberation. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate. Greater than knowledge, there is no purifier in this world. Tatsvayam yoga samsiddha kalena atmani vindati. In due course of time, he will realize it. So, Atma jnanat shokanavrittihi. By knowledge of the highest self, there is elimination of sorrow. That is why he says, Panditaha na shojanti. Men of knowledge, you won't worry. In other words, what happens? If you are worried, there is a lack of knowledge. Very clear. I am worried. That means something somewhere is not right. And many times when we have no Shraddha also we worry. See, when what we can do, we do. Whatever we can do, what need to be done in any situation, when we do, there is always a certain limitation there. How much we know, how much we can do in any situation, it's always limited. But the situation is overwhelming, that it challenges us. What we should do? इसमें श्रद्धा रखना चाहिए, भगवान. This is where we lack. What we lack is, we are incapable of letting go and allow the Lord to take over. We think we can do everything. That is where the problem is. Even when we know that we cannot do further, we don't let go, and that not letting go leads to worry. I can't leave it also. When you get into the flight, do you check who's the pilot is? Open the cockpit. Are you fellows awake or asleep? Do you check? Come on, show your pilot certificate. I want to see. Did you know really flying, or you're just sitting there? No, we are autopiloting. So dangerous. Is it not that the moment you got your flight ticket and got into the flight, you have given your life to somebody else? Kisi ko de diya. After having you, are you worried? I don't know, this is going to take up or not. In the same way, when you go to a restaurant also, do you go to the kitchen to find out how they are cooking? You will never eat in that place again. Many times when people invite me for Bhiksha and then I go and sit there. Can I look at your kitchen? No. If you look at the kitchen, you won't eat also. But some of them very generously, like, yeah, Swami, you come and look at our kitchen. Why? Because I didn't cook. I only catered it. I'm so scared. Because if I cook, what will happen to you? So therefore I cater. No problem. You can look at my kitchen. Clean. Nothing is there. See, when we have that Shraddha, when we get into the flight, we don't look at who's the pilot, etc. So also in our life, there is a Bhagavan who is piloting it. Even before you came, the world was there or not? You have any doubt? Pehle, your birth, before your birth was there, the world was there or not? Much better place. After you leave, much better place. You don't worry about, I don't know whether the sun will rise or not. I have no idea tomorrow. You don't have that doubt at all. Why? Kisme Shraddha hai aapko? Bhishatmat Vadapapati, Bhishad Udedi Surya, Bhishad Agnischa Indrascha, Mrityuhu Dhavati Panchamai. By the Lord's command alone, the sun rises, the wind flows, and river runs. So you have a doubt? So just like Bhagavan can take care of such phenomenal forces around, which humans have not touched or created it in your life, do you think that he can't do it? He's waiting for you to let go. If you don't let go, acha, you want to do it. Let's see. Of course, he would say that you do your best. Don't that give up every time. Do your best. But you should necessarily develop that Shraddha that you have done the right thing as much as I can. Now take over. Then there is no worry. That is a Panditaha na shochanti. So Atmajnanadeva Shokasya Nivrittihi. The correct knowledge alone, there is absence of worry. So Atmajnana Praptartham, for the sake of gaining this knowledge, what would be our qualification? Because Shravana Samaya Jnanam Sambhavati eva. While the teacher or when you read the book or listening to a scripture, knowledge is being transmitted. Right? But doesn't take place in our head. Kyun? Mana ashuddhi karanat. Mind is impure. Mind is agitated. Mind is distracted. Mind is disturbed. Mind is not available. Mind is somewhere else. So, Atmajnanam Nivritti Karanam. Even then, Tadavi Kasmat Karanat Jnanam Na Sambhavati Manasi. Why it is that it is not possible for my mind to understand Shravana Samaye? And that is because of impurity of the mind. And that removal of impurity is what is elaborated from 3rd chapter onwards. How to make your mind pure so that knowledge will take place. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. How to purify the mind so that knowledge will take place. So in this 18th chapter, all this will be covered again. So this chapter, even though talks about sannyasa, but it elaborates on all topics. What is Atmajnanam? What happens when you get Atmajnanam? What is the nature of your mind? How the mind can be purified? What is the nature of impure mind? Why it is not possible for us to easily purify the mind? What are the sadhanas to be done? That's why this chapter is the biggest chapter among all chapters. All right, as we proceed on this, the question raised by Arjuna in the beginning is very interesting. We'll start with that question here. Ata ashtadashodhyaya Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. No, it is not. Arjuna Uvacha. And before that, there is a slide which I have created there, you see. Next. If liberation or freedom can be obtained only through renunciation, why should one perform duties of life? In this chapter, Bhagavan is going to highlight on sannyasa. And there are two terms that are used in Gita and elsewhere also. One word is called sannyasa, another word is called tyaga. Many of us do not think there is any difference in these two. Because when we are chanting like Nakarmanana Prajayadanena Eki Amritatvamana Tyagena Eki Amritatvamana. By tyaga alone is immortality gained. This is what said in the Upanishad. In the same very Upanishad, continuing on that point, sannyasa yogat yataya shuddha sattva. By the sannyasa, those people have prepared the mind. Now the question is, these two words, tyaga and sannyasa, are you, which are they synonymous or they have any difference? This is the question that is going to be raised by Arjuna. It looks technical, but it is not actually. Now, if the final statement of the Lord is going to be that through knowledge, you will gain the ability to let go all your worries, and that is the only way you can find the total fulfillment. If letting go is what is to be done at the end of our life or at the culmination of our understanding, why should we do anything at all? What is the purpose of all the various duties and responsibilities prescribed in our shastras? That's the question anybody would have. If liberation of life is the goal, is life's goal, what interest anyone would be having into fulfilling the social and family responsibilities? Next, the primary question in Arjun's mind at the beginning of this is the discussion with Krishna was about confusion about duty, which I spoke about. Aham dharma sammuda. I'm not sure about what needs to be done. Interestingly, Bhagavan, what he says, are you worried about, are you confused about dharma? Yes. What did he finally say? Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. So all dharmas you give up and then take surrender to me. So if he had, Arjuna would say, if you have only said before itself, you would not have wasted this much time. So what is the relevance of dharma in the context of liberation? Why should I do the right thing if I'm going to give up everything anyways? Continuing here, does engagement in duty lead to renunciation? How? Next. Can one be take to renunciation directly without engaging in worldly duties? Next. So I put some ideas. Renounce only your attachments, everything else you have already renounced. Is it not true? What is to be renounced is not objects, but in your mind, it is mine. So that is what one is going to say. So duties and responsibilities are necessary for manashuddhyartham. As I said, jnana prapti manashuddhya eva. Knowledge gaining the knowledge is only through pure mind. I give the example of somebody taking a vessel, a patra, a container to bring milk from the shop or whatever. Let us say that in India, they bring, in some place they'll say, you take your vessel and then nowadays everything is here, plastic. You take a real vessel and then go and take the milk from wherever they are giving. If the vessel is impure, dirt in that, will the milk be pure? Even though what is given to is pure milk. In the same way, knowledge, even though is available to us, our mind is not available to it. Our mind is so impure. It interprets whatever is heard also. Not knowing what is sanatana, that's a major controversy that is going on. Universal knowledge. Sanatana, the very means sana sada atanatvat. That which is available for everyone equally, for everyone's total growth and prosperity. And if that is not understood, then there is a problem. The impurity of mind looks everything impure only. If I'm wearing a blue glass and walk around, hey, everybody is wearing blue. You're wearing a blue glass. Your mind is narrow, nothing looks correct. Continuing here. To renounce things is not to give up the, what is it? Give them up to. It is not to give up. You know that everything is going given up. So Bhagavan's question, Arjuna's question is technical, all right, at one sense. Another sense is, I want clarity about what is renunciation. Now, again, in our Hindu tradition, there are 4 ashramas. Sannyasa is an ashrama. Ashrama means what? A stage of life. Sannyasa is a way of life, not a physical giving up, etc., even though it appears to be so. In each stage of our life, there is one pradhanatvam is there. That is, during this stage of a student life, shishtanucharanam, that is the pradhanatvam. Swadhyayanam, study, and shishtanucharanam, and following certain disciplines. This is considered as the primary duty of a student in the student life, which is called brahmacharya ashrama. And that is the reason why when a child is studying the education, we make sure that the child is focusing only on studies and nothing else. Everything else is to be given secondary importance only. And then comes the grihastha ashrama, the stage of a householder. Karma paripalanam, tata, one's own family, parivara paripalanam, karma paripalanam, meaning doing your actions and taking care of your worldly duties. That is considered as the primary duty of a householder. This is the way the second stage should be. The third stage is vanaprastha ashrama. And that stage is for preparation for renunciation. Because having done the work in this world, having worked so long, and when you reach this age of retirement, retirement for what? From what? Retiring your mind from taking new responsibilities. I mean, don't start a new project when you're 65 and 17. So get ready for the higher purpose of life by letting go of the other responsibilities to the next generation. Do not, hold on to it. So that is what is called the stage of retirement. And renunciation is stage of contemplation, where the highest goal of life is the primary motive and purpose, moksha. So sannyasa, when you say, it is a ashrama, a stage of life or a lifestyle. So with that understanding, if you have looked at this first verse, you will understand what the question of Arjuna is. What is that stage of life I would reach? Is it through tyaga? If it is so, how? Now we'll read the first verse and then we'll see the explanation in the next session. Arjuna uvacha sannyasasya mahabaho tattvamiccami veditum tyagasya cha rishikesha pritakeshi nishudana. Arjuna uvacha sannyasasya mahabaho tattvamiccami veditum tyagasya cha rishikesha pritakeshi nishudana. A Mahabaho, who mighty armed, he is addressing to Krishna. Veditum ichchami. I would like to know about tattvam, essence, clarity of understanding. About what? Sannyasasya, of renunciation. Renunciation, I want to know clearly what it is. Tyagasya cha, and also about tyaga. So tyagasya tattvam tata sannyasasya tattvam api veditum aham ichchami. I want to know. Then he says, the second part is, Hey Rishikesha, Oh, one who has curly hair. Rishika Ishaha. One meaning is one who is the conqueror of Rishika essences, or one who has curly hair, of course, physical phenomenon. Pritak, also the difference between these two. Hey, Keshini Shodhana. Oh, the destroyer of Keshi, I would like to know what is the Pritak. Pritak means Veda. Veda means sannyasa, tyaga, between these two. Sannyasa tyaga yoho, Vedam Veditum Icham. I want to know what is the Veda difference. Let's see the next session. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.